Where I did my internship is East Liverpool City Schools. There's actually 4 schools in the system. There's North Elementary, there's the high school, there's Westgate, which is the older building, and then there's LaCroft Elementary. So there's technically 4 schools that I travel to and from to do my internship job.
My role in the internship with Jack Graham from Kent State University was I initially, here as the Director of Education Technology, East Liverpool City School District, I noticed that we had a need to have, provide an internship experience for some of our young people here, especially in our community. And what better partnership than to work with our local Kent State University.
So in my internship experience, some of the general things that were involved were a lot of hardware problems with computers, a lot of solving common issues for teachers. One of the tools we have in progress is called a help desk. And what that help desk ticket is a teacher will have a problem, per se, with a printer, telephone, problems like that. And we'll see it, we'll be able to see what room number they're in, go to the school where the help desk ticket is needed, and you're able to fix the problem for them. You even have a way to close it, so there's full communication between the teacher and the helpee, which would be me.
I'd say, dozens of help desk tickets come in every day, which can become very time consuming for everyone in the department. And Jack was somebody that could step right in and help immediately with his background. In this internship, he had the opportunity to have hands-on experience that got to actually see how it's happening in the real world. He had to come walk in with a classroom full of students with issues going on that they needed that corrected right then, and he was able to provide those services.
So my supervisors are Chris and Greg. I worked more with Chris' side of the technology aspect, but I did dabble a little bit in with Greg.
Some of the projects that Jack did while doing our internship is I had him working with Active Directory, creating user accounts and resetting passwords, creating OUs, and moving computers in and out of OUs.
When I was little, I used to always tinker with computers and stuff like that. And it's sort of got me into the guidelines, watch a YouTube video, you kind of know what you're doing. But doing it, Chris's way of teaching is more, he shows me one time and then he says, you're on your own, go ahead and do it. And that's the way I learned the best too. I put that mental high that I can do anything I set my mind to, but there's a lot more physical labor in a computer IT field than you would assume. Going up ladders to do projectors, carrying heavy servers with lead batteries in them.
Experiences that Jack had with an internship that probably would not have happened within Kent State University's classrooms was just the simple fact that so much of his classes now are online, which is just the way education is going right now. There's a lot of blended learning opportunities out there, a lot of hybrid type online classes, but him coming into this internship, he came with the knowledge of what to do, but not any actual experiences. He saw it only through like a virtual setting classroom.
The hands-on experience to me is priceless, and it's just a whole nother experience from doing it online as a simulation to doing it in real life. But in order to see it as a virtualization and see it in the real world are 2 completely different things, and I can't stress that enough. And the virtualizations are a very good learning tool, doing a Cat5 cable matching up the wires, and it's very tedious. You don't see that, you just match them up on the little screen.
Beyond that though, Jack also provided us with a variety of other projects that he was able to work on, be it a server project for the Media Arts Center here at East Liverpool City School District.
One of the hardest things that I ever actually had to do in my internship is I have to set up a server for Jason Croxall.
We have a unique situation inside of the Media Arts Department here at East Liverpool High School. We have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week streaming radio station that the kids are able to program their own radio shows for. We also have shared media files to help us with the still images that we use and also our video images. So it's important for us to be able to share these files. In the same sense, for the radio station, we had to have a way to share all of the songs. So our database is somewhere around 18,000 songs, close to 200-something gig. That's just it. We have over 11 terabyte of video archive and video assets that we use at our fingertips. We had a server and it was sharing and it was working decently well but not fast enough, and then it crashed. So the announcement that they're going to create a new server really excited me. The ability of Jack to be flexible with us, to work with us, to hear our needs and then offer options for us, for him to work extensively with Chris to create the server and what would work the best for us. It was great to have that type of input and to have that connection. Personally, Jack's ability to talk with the kids was phenomenal. Him coming into the classroom was professional as well as conversational. He was able to come in and start the conversation and not talk just tech specs, just what was needed, and he brought it in as a conversation tone. He engaged the kids and got what they would like to see. Because let's face it, they are tomorrow's technology. They know what's going on and what's going to be needed. So in the future, we'll be done with a basketball game. One computer could be used for the editing of the game. One can be used for the editing of the highlights. One can be used for the assets of all the still images. And yet a third can be done with pulling files from our radio library to make a radio show that then can be saved to the server and then brought up on our dedicated computer for the radio. All this can happen at the exact same time with eight students working on these projects simultaneously. That's what a production house is about. And that's why we needed something at this level and this caliber so that we could emulate what these kids are going to do in the real world. Jack provided that for us. And he did it with professionalism, he did it with ease, and he did it with tenacity.
Setting up a server was something that Chris said that would be maybe out of my knowledge area, but I told him I'm here, I want to learn as much as I can and get as much as I can out of the internship, so I definitely worked on that with him.
Jack's server project was for our media arts students. It was basically a brand new server that he installed, Windows 2012 R2 Server Edition, and set up its own Active Directory, its own domain. He did DHCP, DNS, everything that is needed to create its own little Active Directory world for the media arts kids. Jack also was working with the RAID system on the server when he first set it up. We went over the different types of RAID and what would be the most beneficial for this server.
But it was a whole nother experience. It was, instead of working just with the computer aspect, I actually made the server that gave the internet so all the computers could communicate with each other.
Jack has been an excellent intern. He's been really quick learner, real eager to do stuff. I mean, I can give him projects and I don't have to worry about him. All he does is go out and gets it done. He comes back, gives me the report, and I can send him off to do other things. So it's been a great pleasure to work with him.
I mean, Jack, along with Chris and myself, have been a great team, and I think that teamwork aspect, especially that hands-on teamwork aspect, is something you never want to lose, and it's a great asset to have.
The experience that I've learned, I can definitely take with me anywhere I go. It's something that I am grateful I did every day. So if someone had to ask me, a student, if they would consider doing an internship, I would definitely tell them to go for it. When you do your interview for the internship, just be completely honest. I told them that I do know the terms and that, but I didn't actually do it hands-on. Part of being an internship where you do it is, if you're doing it in a school like me, you're going to have to talk with other teachers and people. You have to be very sociable in order to communicate very well with them. I would also tell them you have to be very detail-oriented. There's certain things that you have to remember, certain codes and guidelines that you have to follow that I technically use every single day when I come in. So the last thing I want to do to wrap up my internship is I'd like to personally thank a couple people who have been very beneficial in this for me. I would first like to thank Kent State as a whole for giving me the opportunity to have the internship, as well as I would like to thank Timothy McFadden for personally emailing me the position of the internship and telling me he thinks I would be a great fit for it. Without him, I probably wouldn't have been able to get it at all. I would also like to thank Chris. He's helped me out tremendously, more than he could ever imagine. The stuff I've learned and the stuff I've did with him, I'll carry on with me forever. There wouldn't be a better person I would ask to have an internship with. Last but not least, I'd like to thank Greg too. With the one-on-one program coming with the Chromebooks, we got to work together, and we got a lot of talking about where he sees himself and where I see myself. Greg is one of those people that you can have a conversation with anytime. And one more thing that I appreciate that Greg has is the enthusiasm that he brings to his day-to-day activities. He's so motivated by everything. I have no doubt that this one-on-one program is going to be going well because he's the one behind it.